wasanii, and today we are hosting Gathoni Mutua, aka?
There's no AKA.
There is AKA for single kiasi.
Oh, AKA Sintame.
Yes, Manzi, I can't say that name
Sintame.
without biting my tongue.
But the people shrub it all the time.
Shantamai.
The things in my DMs, I'm like Santame, Sintamo, Santa Fe. Hey, they go like, what?
All right, welcome to our episode. And this is an episode that highlights and celebrates artists in their own right. And I think you deserve to be here. It's been amazing to see you grow. It's been amazing to see you develop as an actor and become this person that you are.
Thank you. When do umeniona nikitoka mbali? Umeniona nikitoka mbali?
2015.
Was I even an actor when you knew me?
No, you are an AD actually. What were we doing? We were shooting because love.
We were shooting because love.
But they look for because love. It's a good program.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah.
It doesn't really happen. So, how are you? How did you get into acting? Please introduce yourself first to begin with.
Gosh, my name is Gathoni Mutua. I'm an actor. What am I? I'm a coach. I'm a producer. I'm a writer. Yes, acting coach. Performance coach. And then the rest, you know, you do all the rest. Producing, writing, everyone does the rest as well, you know. Yeah. Also directed theater, produced my own productions back in the day when I first started. What else? I've been an AD, assistant director. What haven't we done in this industry?
You have to do things before you settle to the one
background,
point that you
background, nimefanya audience work.
Oh, and you sing as well?
Singing, music, like instruments. I've taught violin.
What instruments do you play?
I play violin.
I see you playing the guitar.
Piano. I play around with the guitar.
Oh, do you have to be multifaceted to get into the position that you are right now?
Oh, so a little about me is that I went to school. Some of my last years in uni were in California, and the 3 years I was there were so, is it eye-opening? I'm a groundbreaking. I'm a heartbreaking.
Everything all at once. Everything at once all together. What is that movie?
Everything all at once all together. Yeah, that like, yeah, it was like excitement of like, wow, I get to actually see this up close, but also like, wow, you have nothing to offer, my friend. Who are you? Like, who actually are you? So yeah.
So tell us about
you're
how
like,
did you
go
get
back,
that
go
point?
back, go back, yeah, rewind selection.
How did you decide now this is my path, I want to be an actor? How did you get started?
Everyone in my family quotes me to say, like when I was like 3 or 4, I used to say I want to be an actress and a mom.
Oh.
I've not yet become a mom, but the acting part,
is there.
Yeah. So that's I've always just kind of wanted to do it. I was in love with the idea of movies and storytelling, and you know, kwa Christmas show mi nilikuwa Mary, unaget like lazima ustar. I think I was just that kid, you know, like I'm a Leo, and Leos are very like, they love the spotlight, but they're also very loyal, so we love like a community of performers, like, so I think that's how I got into the space. It's my character to be like, to love the spotlight in terms of like telling a performative something. I love that. Like, I love the idea of like putting on lights, like putting on a costume and like
becoming someone else.
Yeah, but also just the whole storytelling process of it. I love that you can shift a room into a studio, into, you know, I love that. The whole storytelling process is very interesting to me.
Oh, fantastic. Did your parents support you in it, or did they take you to schools that supported your talents?
So, my parents are sort of artists in a sense. My dad teaches French, my mom taught music and English, and so they're that. They're also missionaries, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, so I think growing up from that family, like most of the people in my family are artsy in that sense. Like, they're not science people.
Oriented guys.
Yeah, like, is account science? Yeah, I guess that's science.
An art
Is that actuarial? Aki mi sijui.
Sema tu mwa hesabu huko.
Mimi ni msanii, tuko kwa sanii. So yeah, I grew up very artsy. So I think that's kind of where I got it from. My mom was a teacher of music as well. So she taught piano and recorder to kids in my life growing up. So I was always around it a lot. So in uni, I decided to kind of take it up. In high school, I did everything under the sun. Even in primary school, I was in worship team, I was in everything. Okay, let's just say, for the record, I usually say I was so like not school, but I think I was a B student.
Okay.
I was a solid B student. As for what that means, really quite American system, mnasemanga sisi ni wafala. But it's not our fault.
You're back home now. We do that does not count.
It's okay. Hata ilikuwa hapa, ilikuwa Roslyn Academy.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mimi wa hapa tu.
Kama ni babi pia.
Okay, babi ni kuenda majuu. Okay, but pia ilikuwa nini? It was a shift of cultures, I'll say.
Yeah.
But even then, I was very involved in everything. Sports, music, you name it. Worship teams, bands. I was trying to do everything.
So how did you leave Kenya to go abroad and study what you do? How did you facilitate that, or how did that get to happen? Because many artists, not many Kenyans have gone abroad to pursue film, acting, arts, like performance arts. So how did you get so lucky, or how do we?
Gosh, it's a small, long story, but I think the long and short of it is, since my parents are mostly missionaries, and also they're educators, so like they taught French, taught English, taught music. They are teachers, you know. So I was raised kind of like, okay, if you're taking this seriously, then take it seriously. Go to school for it. Let's see what's happening,
Fantastic.
Which is great,
yes,
because you need that kind of like, how you're gonna feed yourself kind of vibe in your family, not just like, let's all be artists, like,
Just go find yourself.
Yeah, my parents are not hippies at all.
Okay.
On paper, they sound like hippies.
Yes.
In fact, I've just thought about it.
Yes, they sound
missionary, French teaching, music, banging. No, we're not at all. Like, they're very. My dad is a very quiet-spoken, very wise man. Yeah. My mom is kind of like eccentric, but not at all what you'd think. Yeah.
All right.
So coming from that world, I think it was just easy for me to think, okay, if I'm going to do it for school, how can I do it and be serious about it? So I wanted to go to California, but my folks are like, with what money? No, with what money? Because Roslyn was a missionary school, so that's how we got the connect. We got like major scholarship. And of course, if you have more kids in your family, you get more discount. We were 4.
Hey.
So by number 4 there, like, I was going basically for free,
like where?
Yeah.
Bog off.
So exactly. So now when it came to uni, my folks are like, hey, my friend, wherever you want to go, I don't know if that's going to be able. So I did, after high school, I did like 6 months of just, kale kakitu kakudiscover nini. Yeah. So I did events in that time. I just did like things, So every time I've had like loose time, I've always just explored things. I'm like, okay, what can I do now? Like, can I learn how to edit? Like, I think I learned how to edit during that time. Things like that. I was learning how to do coordination, That's when I was like, oh, okay, I can plan. Okay, let's see how So, and then, so how did I get from that to doing acting in school?
In school,
yeah. So my folks were like, okay, just go to school. We'll see how we'll make this happen. So I'm like, okay, fine. So they're like, because you went to American school, what's the closest thing? USIU.
Yes.
But USIU does not have any arts at that time. Even film at that time was nada.
The film just came the other day.
It just came the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, where were you?
Kwanza, have you seen Preps zimetolewa?
Yes, you see. Okay, Miss Kwana Preps.
Yes, tulikuwa na Preps. Every day of our lives.
This is why I'm not prepared for life. I would say hatukuwa na Preps, you see. Hatukuwa tuna prepare. By the way, for real, I don't know how to study for an exam.
What did you guys
like
do?
we just taught ourselves. Tulikuwa tunaenda Google how to
answer questions in an exam.
Yeah.
Where?
America is concepts, concepts, not like
number one.
Yeah,
answer.
you tell me a list and then tell me to list it again. I'll be like, the concept of the list was, you know,
the idea.
Yeah, the idea behind the list. So anyway, so I did USIU. I was doing international relations because there's no art there. Then my folks were like, okay, we have a connection because at Roslyn, the lady who was in Roslyn went to Canada. She was from Canada. The school counselor, she was from Canada. So she was like, why don't I connect you with a school that I'm going to go work at? So my folks were like, immediately with direct effect.
Right there.
Si unaenda maju, unataka kwenda maju. Ndo hii scholarship, ndo huu mtu. So at least you'll be connected, nini. I'm like, great. I get there, again, theater, nothing. So I'm like, okay, what's close enough? Music, and I've studied music. My mom's a music, so I was like, music. I decided to do a music major.
Okay. How did that go?
I did 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, listen, this thing for music is not for me. Let me tell you, like, it was the hardest 2 weeks of my life. Like, it was so difficult. It was like trigonometry. Like, first there was composition, which is like all kinds of mathematics. Okay?
Okay.
It's like, what is the sixth above and then you have to do the fourth, and then the triad of the ninth and the augmented seven. I said, my friend, I came here to sing like Beyonce. What are we doing?
What are these?
What is note?
Wow.
What is quarter note? So yeah, it was crazy. I was like, okay, not sleeping, literally like my whole year would like sit up till like 5, just like doing assignments. Wow. It was mad. It was actually like solfege classes, just solfege, like learning how to hear music. Like it was history of sijui when, and so one of the history classes for music would be like, he would play 10 seconds of the song, a classical music song. Uko katikati ya ngoma.
Alafu?
Be like, name the composer, name the year, I said, my friend, is it war? Are we in war? So you see, and then remember coming back from Roslyn, where I didn't know how to memorize things. So some of those classes were like, I just want to teach music and have a good time and like be able to do music. What's all this?
Oh, what drumline?
Just
that guy.
Yeah.
Wait, there's this guy, the guy who yelled at the other guy in the ear, like, yeah, horrible.
Exact. But I didn't need to watch that movie again. I just remember Nani from that movie.
Anyway,
right. So, so I've now changed from a music major to a music minor in those 2 weeks. Meaning now I'm doing my whole minor instead of across 4 years, just in 1 year, right? Because my folks are hinting, maybe you'll be able to transfer to a school that has theater. So I'm like, let me just bag this music minor. So I finished the music minor in a year at Canada. My folks are like, tumepata pesa, we sasa tafuta scholarship, tupatane halfway, wende APU, Azusa Pacific University in California. Now this is now that uni. The one I was looking at from year 11.
Wow.
I was like, oh my goodness.
I am here now.
My folks are like, we're going to do this. We're going to like, my folks by them.
They invested in your art.
Like I'm so grateful for how they think in terms of like that whole thing of, if you want to do this, then let's do it.
Let's be serious about it.
Let it not be because that you weren't educated or didn't have the opportunities
to pursue whatever you wanted.
And I think that's big.
That's brilliant.
If like parents can just be like, if you're really this determined, give them a year. Give them a year, give them 6 months, give them 3 weeks.
Giving you this duration.
What can you do?
Yourself.
Yeah. Instead of saying Z, say, okay, you're so committed, let's see.
20.
Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, I'm so grateful for them for that. Got the opportunity to go to APU. That's when I got, So now I've gone to Azusa Pacific University. I'm studying Bachelor of Arts in Theatre Arts. And I'm like an hour away from Hollywood. So I'm like, I'm so close, I can touch the nene,
I am
the
here.
beach.
Baby.
Except no, it was like, you know, an hour in California is like from here to Kisumu.
Are you
It's far. It's that the roads are
The
nice.
roads are nice.
It's far.
Wow.
So me, I'm like, oh, it's just an hour away,
That's
or like an hour and a half. So I had to get a car. Because by the time now I graduated after the 1.5, 2 years or whatever, now I've done all 4 years, right? USIU, Canada, then the last 2 years. So now I've done my 4 years. I'm like basically done.
You're
so
ready.
I have, yeah, so I get OPT, which is optional practical training. You get 1 year to study there, but you have to work in the area in which you graduated.
Okay.
That's the trick. Problem is, most people do like waitressing jobs, right?
Yes.
Not I, because that's not theater related, film related.
It's nothing related to what you're
Nothing.
studying, so you're just surviving.
So me, I'm like, but the movie said you get to act and then you be a waiter on the side, then you make money and you can just...
Come on.
I was like, oh, you're not American. That's for the Americans, sweetie.
So what are your criteria? What is your criteria?
So you had to work within theater, film, or television, which is such a hard field to work in, especially in Hollywood, where everyone and their sister and cousin and auntie has come. Akina Senje.
Manze akina nepotism babies.
Man! Wamekam water, Akina Harvey Weinstein's
Hey.
cousins. They're all there. And they're all looking. YouTube creators, everyone
And
is
then
there.
there's you.
Then there's me. Mdemtu wa Murang'a.
Manze, ulikuja tu.
Nilimwalk. Mi ni wa kumwalk.
So how did you fit in? Because I saw you in Hollywood.
I didn't fit in. Aki, let me tell you.
How did you get in?
Let me tell you.
Kumbuka
We
kwa
make
kufika Hollywood.
kwa nini kwa social media tunafanya ikae poa. Mi nilikuwa mshamba, nilikuwa like
Itabidi kwa sababu
ilibidi.
where
And then
you
also
getting
because it meant so much for me because as a kid, that's what I knew. I knew the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes.
I knew the Hollywood sign.
This
Because
is
like
what you
nasimama huko one
wanted.
day. Yeah. So by the time I was there, I was like, okay, so that year after I graduated was like so major. I was telling you that's before we started rolling, about being an audience member.
Yes.
So yeah, so in this one OPT year is when like I was like, yo, this is it, this is what I want to do. I have this opportunity that so many people, even people who have been in this industry forever, will probably never get that opportunity to.
Exactly.
Not even that, even me myself will probably never get that opportunity again.
Yes.
When we talk about odds,
Yes.
the odds of, you know.
Of you getting there
Yeah.
again.
So, and I think, sadly, I was so young that like, it was only kind of hitting me that now I'm like, yo, I was where, doing what?
When, how?
I mean, I was just struggling, man. Literally, like I was saying, during that year, I was an audience member. So, mi nilikuwa naenda, you name it. I mean, name the shows. Mi nilikuwa na McDo ku clap.
Hey!
Kwa Borison, sijui Borison, what's her name? Nicole.
Oh, wow. You are a professional audience.
Let me tell you about that job.
Yes, please.
It's like 8 hours. Okay, so you're paid hourly in the States, right?
Fantastic.
Which I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yes.
So you want a show that's like a proper like 1 hour, 30 minutes, 45-minute show, right? Not these short ones, because
Bruh.
yeah, like there's one for CNN or something that I went there and I was like, yes, I'm gonna make bank. It was 3 hours,
So that's
which meant
what?
like $8. I was like, that's $24. I need to eat today. Na nimekam nimeleta gari. Ngata? So anyway, so I'd look for shows like Boris and Nicole where you're there all day. Because some of the newer shows at that time, let me not age myself, but it was a newer show at that time.
Okay, let's just say that.
Yeah, they like would take a long time. You know, you have to set up and they'd be like, okay, stop, hold on, audience, everybody take a break. Okay, you know, so it would stop a lot because they have to go back. Oh, sorry, we missed that line. Let's start again.
Oh.
Versus like, if you went like to the Trevor Noah or you know the daily shows, those guys I'm sure they don't do
They don't do
they don't
prep, they don't have the rehearsal.
Hata ni live inakuanga live.
So you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
45 minutes and you're gone.
Yeah, so I loved the longer shows because no.
Yes. Obviously.
Yeah, so I was making money off of those kinds of things, but it was quite rough because like I had roommates that I didn't know. It was just like I didn't have a car for the longest time. And in California, like I've said, everything is a distance away.
Yes.
And again, I'm a foreigner. So everything is already terrifying because I'm like, where am I going if I get lost? What will I, no. You know, my only relatives are Wapi, like an hour and a half away as well.
Where?
And everyone is like, so you chose this life. That's the thing about the arts, man.
The struggle.
It's really hard to get that support when it's hard, because everyone is like, see, you chose this life. See, there's accounting. See,
there's that degree you are meant to get.
Si ndio hii nursing kwa tu hapa.
Mbona usiende hizo rahisi?
Kuna Ministry of Health. They are needing secretaries. What would I do? Ati unaandika nini?
Kama nani?
Proposal. Oh! See, this is your 75th proposal this year. So it's just like, it's a struggle. Guy, why am I triggering myself?
I'm sorry. No, you're triggering us both. Kwa sababu, how long have we been in this industry?
Man.
You're only barely
fighting, scratching. Just.
How did you adjust to the culture shock, and how did you get your foot into Hollywood? As an actor, not as a professional audience.
Culture shock wise, I think culture shock was more Roslyn than anything. I think once I went to Roslyn, I was just aware of everything. Because everyone, you know, those are Americans, American missionaries in Kenya. So they are a special weird breed.
Okay.
Some of them have money, others are. So it's like, I knew a lot about the culture because they would go home and then they'd come back. They'd be like, Jolly Ranchers. These are Jolly Ranchers, Gathoni. What are you? Or Gathoni. These are Jolly Ranchers, Gathoni. And I'm like, what is Jolly Rancher? Who is that?
What is that?
Yeah, so by the time I graduated, I was on. I'm like, yeah, Jolly Ranchers, when we'll go to, you know, McDonald's when we get to the, yeah, really catch on. We kind of catch on.
There. With it. All gonna focus by there. You know where you were going.
Yeah. And you know the thing about Rosin at the time as well is they were very foreign, like international. So they were driving you to go to the States, like for uni.
Okay.
Which was, now they don't because they have a lot more Kenyans. But at the time it was like, come when the US or when the uni. So us guys were looking at each other like, oh, just going to SIU, only to come and, because they were really looking down on, but at the time there was less focus on like here, right? And less respect. So now I think, yeah. So me, I was just like, US. So I really was trying to absorb as much as possible. You know, you want to fit in as a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't know any cultural things. So, because me, I'd never left, I'd never been to the US. I think we went once the summer before I graduated. And I was like, thank God now I can know what to say. Like, when we go, I can say.
You're ready.
Yeah. But again, missionary. So, pali tunaenda ni church. Tunaenda church.
Church-oriented.
Tunaenda church.
Church-oriented plan.
Yeah. Conferences.
Guy.
Hapo ndio niko. Yeah, so that was interesting in terms of culture. I think I had already kind of gotten it. Of course, it's visually, you know, there's the grandeur of America, there are the roads, there are the cars, you know. There's the vibe, like, poverty is not poor there, you know, like.
It's not the same.
I don't know which comedian says that in the States, you know, at night or in the winter time, even the homeless people go home because it's too cold. Like, the homelessness is different there. You know, here it's like,
hey, Buddha Joe.
Mnaenda?
Outside, you're outside. Wow.
So I think the culture was not so hard to adjust to in terms of that. It was just that thing of clap. In fact, I was not doing acting.
So uli clap hadi ukapiga hizo picha?
Actually, I didn't do any acting, imagine, in the States, hardly any. I only did my acting reel, which was, at the time, you know, the States is very organized. The systems work so well. So they're like, where is your acting reel? Where are the samples? Where is the da-da-da? And me, I'm like, huh? I thought you just come and you look nice.
Present your talent?
Yeah, me I was told, yo, you're going to California. So unaenda kutu represent, manze. So I was like, yeah, me, I'll be unique. They'll need me, nini.
Neti. When ni nani kwanza?
I went to do background acting because they even have like a, let's say, what is it? Like a company that just handles background. And there are many in the state, in Hollywood, yeah. So I went to sign up. I think I went at like 4 or 5 in the morning. I think I was number like 40. Sitting there, just waiting. And you're going to be taken pictures and to like sign, to like register or something.
So this is just like a consultation?
Yeah, this is the consultation. To be a background extra.
Wow.
My friend.
Saturation.com.
So nikiandika hapo, I was an extra in Lucifer. Msinione kufanya kazi. I was fighting people for that. Let me tell you, I was not seen in that scene. Episode 1, season 1, episode 1.
Okay.
People are always like, who are you in that? I'm like, you see, when they pass the camera, you see that corner where it's dark.
That's where we were.
Yeah. But I'm proud of that because I saw so much during that year that was like, oh, these are the practicals. This is what an actual ARRI camera looks like. You know, this is what a big star director looks like. This is what an AD actually does when a set is actually functioning, you know.
Nice.
So when you're not given the position of any producer, any director, any assistant director, you are the casting, there's a position. In fact, there are multiple positions for all of that. One of the positions that I did right out of graduating at APU in that first OPT year, this is actually probably one of the best projects I've done or biggest budget. It was a football movie, a Christian football movie called Woodlawn. You can check it out, Woodlawn. So it was like, so the school is called Woodlawn. Let me tell you the things that we did. Me, I was an extras casting coordinator.
Okay.
Meaning, kuna director, kuna first AD, kuna second AD, kuna third AD ama second.
Yes.
Alafu, kuna extras casting coordinator. No, kuna extras casting manager. Alafu extras casting coordinator. Alafu sisi.
The others.
Yeah. These are the AD departments. Plus now the assistants, PAs. So that department is massive, and you've not even gotten to Akina camera, equipment, So the set is just run like clockwork. Because on one of the scenes, for example, I needed to get 2,000 extras.
Hey, okay.
Okay?
All right.
So that's why when we talk about companies that are casting for extras, that's why, because they ain't playing games.
How are you going to get 2,000? 2,000 is the entire, a section of Nairobi.
Yay! So actually, it was shot in Alabama, so actually I had traveled there. We got like everyone in town. Everybody who was just around. Yeah, just like you. You're looking like, you look like you. Yeah. We're like, call your sister, call your brother, we got churches to get involved, you know.
Wow.
Just like, can you bring everyone?
Just anyone you know.
Problem is, it was even set in the 70s. So not that you just come and then you bring your shirt, no. What do you have that looks 70s? Then we have to approve it.
Where,
my friend?
How long does it take? Because, wait, if we compare it to here, like you see how we have, our costume needs to be approved by client, it takes 1 week for 2 people or 5 people. So how long did you guys take?
First of all, they move a whole factory of like everything.
Nice.
The wardrobe, I mean, they literally, that's why they have proper trailers. And this again, when you have an industry that works, jobs are provided. Because why don't we have trailers here? We need to move with our stuff.
Sindio.
Ati sasa you always, leta nduthi kutoka Kitengela, sijui nimewacha sijui nini. Hama nayo, wende nayo.
Yeah.
So you guys, when you go with equipment, you guys now go with tractors and trucks.
Yes.
Why is the wardrobe person not going with their stuff?
Because they've not been paid enough to do that.
Yeah, because
she needs an entire unit to move it.
But you see the results are there. It's very obvious. I'm telling you, go watch that trailer of Woodlawn. Not only that, extras. Now, on top of the 2,000 extras, we had scenes where we were doing like stadium shots. So please note it's like winter, which was not so bad in Alabama because it's the South. Yeah. But it was not snowing, but it was minus, right? So us were freezing. And we're shooting night scenes, right? Because we have to shoot like, it's a night game, so floodlights, nini. But we couldn't always get the 2,000 extras because it gets expensive, right? Because you have to pay people.
Every day.
You know, some of the days we could be like, can you just volunteer? But sometimes it was like...
money fast.
So we got blow-up dolls.
Okay, fair enough.
So these blow-up dolls, let me tell you, like 2,000 of them. So our extras casting coordination department is there at 4M.
I wanted to blowing them. There are no machines to blow.
Please, we are putting wigs, we are putting shirts.
You're dressing
It's a
up
half
the
body.
pillow.
Unaona tu mtu.
Wow. How did you?
Then, director is like, cut, that row is deflating, so tunakimbia sisi sote. Freezing, we're tired, we're cold, and by the our thighs. Because you're going from this bottom stairs. You know how athletes do that thing?
Yeah.
Up and down the stadium. That was us. Unarudisha wig.
Unamvalisha tena, mnarudi tena.
Tunaroll. Okay, blow up that row again.
How long did that take? Because it did.
What? Those scenes were murder and torture.
How long did that take?
Hours, days.
God.
Yeah, sometimes we're just like, hey, we have to do that thing again. We didn't catch it.
Bana.
Sometimes they were flying away. Man, it was windy. Because it's a stadium, right? You know how windy stadium.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So anyway, basically all that to say, like in the States, systems work. So there are a lot of jobs. So things are it's like clockwork. Mm-hmm. You get to see a lot.
How did you decide to come back? Like what pushed you to come back? Did you give up on Hollywood? Did you want to like, hey, manze wacha nirudi kwanza ni you felt like you were needed more at home or just that?
Wacha tu nisema, dear US government.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you allow us to stay in your country?
Oh, you were thrown.
Yeah. You have 1 year. Like you've applied for one, you have 1 year. You want to stay longer? It's you and IRS.
Get a job.
Ama, so you just go underground. What's her name? From the underground railroad.
Wow.
Yeah, it's you and them. Okay, I can't say the Mexican. Yeah, it's you and those guys just running. Where the police?
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. You have to work, and then you have to work in the
industry that you were
graduated in. So don't now start doing this and this, because the IRS.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
So ulirudi to home decide, let me start.
I was like, I'm not going to start fighting, because I'm like East-West. I can't even get an extra job to supplement me. These guys already here like, you have 1 month left. You have 3 weeks left.
Time up. Time up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, it was a lot. It was quite something.
So how did you, because I know when you go abroad and then you come back, everyone has moved on into some weird ass territories and you find yourself alone. So how did you come back into the industry? How did you find your niche or position?
Goodness.
How hard did you have to work to get to this point and get accepted into the industry?
Yeah. This is that part. This is where the struggle now began.
Ya ukweli sasa.
Because I'd honestly say, and a lot of people would be like, yeah, she's just privileged, she's had connects, which is actually absolutely true.
Si mnasikia? Which is absolutely true.
Siwezi danganya, hata kama zilikuwa za wa missionary. Zilikam too.
But you still have to prove yourself.
But you see, at the end of the day, everyone's like, that's nice. Kwanza Kenyans, oh my goodness, nililand. They're like, oh, you've been in? That's cool. Tell me all about it. Then at the end, I'm like, okay, so you'll hire me. They're like, so what have you done here, though? Like, what have you done here? I'm like, but see, I've just told you about, remember the 2000X, remember the ball,
a professional audience guy? No. Yo.
They're like, yeah, that's nice. That's cool.
So did you ask, okay, when you came and started looking for jobs, did you look for jobs as an actress? Or
me, I was looking for anything, man. Okay, I really wanted to do acting because I was like, let me prove to my parents that, that extra 50% that they put in, that whatever, was not in vain. And all the missionaries who supported me over the years, thank you very much, God bless you. Like, that it was not all in vain, Mm-hmm. So me, I was just like, let's go, let's hustle, people were rough. It was really, really rough. I'd say my first job coming back were my family friends. I won't name names here, but they've already been burnt on Twitter like a couple years ago, so. Acha nisicheke.
Okay.
Nisicheke, but they told me, okay, come through, write this thing for this documentary. And I was like, cool. I wrote, I rewrote, and I perfected it. And honestly, it was like some high-level stuff, right? Because mimi nimetoka Hollywood. Yeah, man.
Brother.
Kwanza wanaongea vizuri sijui, it was like the hydroelectric, and I was like the voiceover artist. It's like the hydroelectric power that, you know, sources the Mount Elgon. I was like, call me, I got you. To this day, you know yourself, by the way. You know you, and I know you watch this channel. I know you watch this channel.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the industry.
And they're my family friends. So I was like, yo, really? And it was like a long time of working on this project, writing, rewriting, because I didn't know anything about that.
Of course.
You know, industry, blah, blah, blah. So
you just came naive. You like, I can write, I can get
paid. But you know, writing involves research. That's the research that they're paying you for, by the way. It's not that the writing juu unajua kuongea. It's the putting information together. Yeah. So that was really like eye-opening and like heartbreaking at the same time. Because I was like, oh, hivyo ndio kunaendanga. Kwa ground.
Where?
Because me, I'd seen like theater productions, I'd seen Luanda sijui nini. I was like, As soon as I left, you had things to do. Nimerudi.
Show them.
Where? Then the friends who I made, slowly them, I think because they had already been here, you know, they had their connects in Kenya. It's big.
Cartel, bro.
Man. So me, I was just coming back to make my connections back. But those people, because they had already been here for long, they were just like, me, I've already been where you are. Tutapatana.
Mbele.
So that was really harsh and hard.
That's heartbreaking.
And it's only actually now that I can actually even see that. Because at the time I was like, Mko? Ebu Mko? Hey.
Phone calls go and answer. Like, guys, you guys were like, yo.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it was like really rough. So that's when I started coaching, you know, because I was like, I know how to act. And as soon as your industry doesn't give you money, what do? You teach.
Exactly.
Come on, English, you teach it.
Yeah.
Come on, sports, you teach it. You know. So I was like, let me teach. So I think in anywhere that you can think of that has theater or acting or something, I've called them. They have my number. I'm telling you, name it.
Did you try to have your
ADMI, you know, Nairobi Performing Arts Studio. I mean, you name it. I've either worked there, they have my number, we've collabed something.
They've heard from you.
Yeah, they've heard from me. Kind of Go Down. Oh my goodness. the poor owner of Go Down. She, like, I've jazzed her emails from 2015, before I'd even arrived. I was like, hi, I'm arriving.
I'm going to...
What are you guys doing there? Can I, you know?
Nothing.
So anyway, yeah.
So when did you get your first paid gig in Kenya? And how did you get it?
For acting or?
After you came back and you tried your foot in everything. So where did you first get your official breakthrough in Kenya? Either commercial, TV, film.
Because Love to Lilip.
Si hata kwanza ulikuwa AD. Hey Gathoni, we have tasted life. We need.
Chani sip crest, Joe. And I know you watch this channel.
They all do.
But they all watch this channel. When do unachoma? You umetuleta ndio tuchome?
Shauri. Tunanika kila mtu ndio maana tusucceed. Tungekuwa tunalipwa, hatungekuwa hapa. Bro. Am I lying?
This is the episode of Bonfire Adventures to chome.
So when did you get your first paid gig and when did you first feel recognized as an actor in Kenya?
Those are two different answers. I think pay-wise, I think I did Guinness Made of Black, still as
VO?
extras. No, casting, third AD.
All right.
Yeah, third AD. And then I think that was probably the first one. I was like, oh, thank God! They know I can do something. Yeah. Did I get another job after that?
How long did it take?
They nilidu. Wacha niwaulize.
2015 hadi 2017.
They called me. Actually, no, I think it's COVID. That story of COVID. It was like 2018.
Yeah.
So I think 2019 passed and then it was just like COVID.
What were you doing during COVID time?
COVID.
How are you making money as an artist?
Can you really ask someone that?
How are you making money as an artist?
Was I making money as an artist is the question.
How are you making money then?
I think I was teaching. I was teaching mostly.
Okay.
I was teaching with a company called Zan Arts. They basically teach like kids and adults, blah, blah, blah. So I actually still do that on the side on Saturdays. To teach 2 or 3 hours, basically just like weekly workshops until they get to a certain age. Then we take them to an actual like 4-year system. So yeah, so far we still have the young ones. So until they get up to like 18, 19, yeah.
Oh, you still work there till today? Or
Yeah, yeah. So I have,
today?
so now because of single kiasi, I just kind of work a bit more part-time. Yeah, when I'm off or whatever. So
what do you teach? Acting,
acting,
videos,
yeah.
music?
Acting, yeah. The rest of those are a bit more challenging to teach in Kenya. Yeah.
So when did you decide to branch into VO in Kenya? Voiceover acting?
VOs, I just kind of also do them part-time, like on the side, whenever I can catch a gig here and there. I think I could be more serious with it.
Yes, you would.
Yeah. Mi nangoja nipewe radio gig.
Sasa sasa hapa sasa ndo tunaanza.
Ebu.
Usound kwa interest.
Tricky.
Usibo watu.
By the way, utanipatia nini? Ni hai.
Si ndio?
Nifanye voiceover podcast.
Sure.
Welcome to the podcast. Dinim.
So let's talk about Pieces of Us. How did you get
Pieces
cast?
of Us.
Because I think this was your first major
Yeah.
role that you actually came through.
Where wacha ngoja.
Abu.
Kuna This Is Life.
Yes.
This Is Life came before Pieces of Us.
Yeah.
So This Is Life was a series that I was also starring in with the late Kone Nohum and Melissa Kiplangat from Country Queen.
I remember.
Blessing Lungaho, who's been on this show.
Yay. Hi, Blessing.
Hi, Bless. Who else? Mugo.
I remember you guys all
Emmanuel
dressed in
Mugo.
white.
Yeah, Emmanuel Mugo from everything, including Tidy High.
Yes.
Who else? Yeah, so that was Audi Roa.
Oh, wow.
Goodness,
She's
from
a big
Salem.
one.
Who, man, that show was star-studded.
It is. It was.
But it was like pre-star-studded. Walikuwa wanaangalia mustards, tukakuwa masters.
Bastards.
Yeah.
So how did you learn that role?
Gosh, landing that role. That role was audition, as all of them have been, honestly. It's interesting that they've kind of been under a similar umbrella company, but none of the 3 times that I've gotten these gigs have I known who was really behind it. And they've all cast very differently. I would have definitely thought they don't know each other. But this one, they had like a 4-step, 3-step process. They were like, okay, go to room 1. And after room 1, you go to room 2. Yeah, they're like, okay, so, proceed to room 3.
Like, oh.
Mimi kidogo nikaingia room 1. Nikawa short cheki. Ndio huyu mimi nimekam.
Like a Hollywood.
Ndio huyu mimi nimekam. Akasema wewe ingia room 4. Akasema sawa.
From 1 to 4?
Yeah, 1 to 4. So
that promotion was quick.
yeah. So I think I found that like most of the people who actually ended up being cast as the mains all went from 1 to 4. We all they were all like, yes, you're the one, it's you. But it was quite nerve-wracking. It was quite nerve-wracking because it's, casting is very...
What's the most grueling audition you've been to, by the way?
Oh! And I always say this. This one for single kiasi. This one for single kiasi is just honestly, it's like not a miracle that I got it, but it's like sometimes casting has to see beyond.
Oh, why?
Beyond what you're presenting.
Okay.
Sometimes they have to see that, they have to have that 4th eye.
Yes.
Because I entered. This room is pitch black, Sheila. It's black. It's those...
Like black.
What are they called? What are those things called?
Blackout.
It's,
What?
what are those rooms where there's nothing, then you can come and bring your things? Warehouse. It's a warehouse. Yeah. Sorry, not a room. Yeah. So it's a warehouse. It's dark. So I'm like, okay. Then you walk. My heels. In silence. Because you're next. There's just one light. It's one light. Wow. It's a small light in front of you, right? And then that X. Then there's a table. And I'm just seeing an arm with a suit. As an arm. And I'm just seeing others. Important motions, important motions, So I'm like, oh, I can't even see anybody. To this day, I don't know who they are.
Auditioned you?
But I knew they were like maybe even like 10 people, maybe like 6, 7 people there, you know? Like several, because usually it's like 3, maximum 4.
Yeah.
I was I was just rapping my own nonsense. Paragasha, burugushu. Hey.
Alafu?
Huh? I don't know what happened. I was shaking, I was terrified, couldn't see anything. I think my wig was halfway. You know, it was just, they were like, as every minute, my hairline was just.
Why?
It was rough. It was really, really rough. I left there. I was confident though, but I was shaking. Like I was scared, but confident, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I think that's what they read, that like she really wants this.
But
she's not doing well, but she wants it.
She can do it.
Yeah. Unajua nini? Participation prize. You know that chicken, like, yeah, man, she's really trying though. And I think uko chini nilikuwa na your base, you know? I knew how to like give a bit of nuance when it comes to certain words or certain nini, maybe inflections, but it's just that I couldn't somehow get my self together, which now we teach in my acting courses. So please go ahead and follow me.
Gathoni. To learn through experience.
Mutua. Yeah, to learn how to calm your nerves, to be like.
So how did you get to learn that?
How do I get into myself? Yeah, all those years of acting. I also went for my own trainings in that year in the States. You know Tasha Smith? A chick who's like, Marcus, in those movies for Tyler Perry. Yes. Okay, Marcus.
Yes.
That chick.
Yeah.
So I went to her studio for like one workshop, cause money. And it was amazing. Like they're so in depth, and the exercises they're doing are actually like important. Not just like, oh, we're gonna study method acting and we're gonna do some Meisner techniques that will really bring out. No. They're like, okay, this particular exercise, and they're like, and everyone is learning, everyone is participating. So I was like, yo, this is it. It's like being part of a play and a cast, but like twice or 3 times a week, but it's no pressure. And I don't know, it was like the best parts of being in a show. And you're always learning, you're always doing new shows, you always have something to work on. Again, I only did 1 class, but I was so inspired by what they do. So I was like, I want to do this when I come home. Yeah, so that's kind of how I did that.
Have you started?
Yeah, so I was doing that from the time 2016. I just started everywhere and anywhere.
So let me ask you, were you a step above your peers, acting-wise? Like considering the experience and exposure that you've had, or do you find that our own actors in Kenya strive to get to that point without even the exposure that you received?
So I'll definitely say that first of all, Kenya is massively talented. People who hear, I think one of the first memories I have of like being back here and having that what is it called? When there's a nini that's called when you have culture shock when you come back to your now nation.
Oh,
reverse culture shock. Reverse culture shock. So I think I had a lot more of that because everyone's like, who are you and why do you think you're Kenyan? And I'm like, yo! Hey. Not the accent.
It is the accent.
We're not the accent. But and I couldn't speak much Swa or anything.
Yes.
So I was just floating. Everyone's like, why do you think you should be here?
Because of your accent.
Yeah. And I was like, no, because I've worked hard for this. Ignore the accent. They're like, we can't. Yeah, they're like, when you speak Swa, call us.
Wow.
Mi nilikuwa na audition, Celine, nilikuwa na audition daily. They're like, okay, we have a new part.
You go.
Okay. It's not their fault. Mi nilikuwa na bafu, man. Okay. No one released those tapes. Do not release those tapes.
Boy.
Yeah, so getting back in was quite difficult.
How did you find your role, like your niche into that? How did you fit into that? Because it's so usually so tightly gatekept. So how did you fit into those cracks to get to the position where you are right now? Because many have tried, others have failed and gone home.
Man, I think part of the education was just you're educated to be resilient. even when I teach people from the first lesson. I'm like, this is going to be very hard. And if you're not somebody who's either resilient or ready to work hard, this is probably not the career for you. You know?
True.
And I'm like, if you want to be famous, we can do something separate. Let's look for fame. But if you want to do that craft of acting, my friend, it's not a joke. And it's quite difficult. So I think it's just like I come from a very realistic
point of view where this is a difficult job.
It's a difficult thing. So so you're asking, how did I penya?
Yeah.
I think it's just realizing that those are the issues, the challenges. So if like, for example, because I know I've been to Hollywood, I've seen where the downfalls are, right? I've seen where they work really well.
Yes.
And then I've come here and I've seen also where they work poorly and also where we work better than them, you know? So I think just being able to be aware has allowed me to be like, oh, let me try this, or let me go to this thing, and let me not audition for this one because I know they're not looking for that. Yeah. I've sat behind as a casting person enough to know, okay, when they're saying yellow, they mean yellow.
Not you.
You and your darkness. Hashtag melanin popping.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, melanin all day. Yeah.
Oh, you're pretty.
You too. Yeah, but like, to know when they mean what they mean, what they're really looking for, or sometimes I can kind of just tell a bit of what, I think that's probably why I got the single Kiasi gig, because as much as I kind of blundered the audition in terms of, maybe a lot of people did well in the audition as Sinta May,
yes,
but it's just kind of that like, there's a foundation that kind of comes in with nuance that I think I had from just having sat in rooms where people are rewriting on the spot in some of the what are those comedy shows where you have like sitcoms,
yes,
they have like multiple cameras, right?
Yes.
So they shoot very like, it's all on the go. Like the writer is in the room, they're like, okay, grrr, you hear that bell, ping, and then they like stop, the writer comes in, they're like, nobody laughed at that line, let's rewrite it. And then they're like, okay, let's run it back. And then they run it and no one laughs again. They're like, ping, okay, let's run it back. They're like, okay, they go with the third version, then everyone laughs, all right, that's the take we're going with. And then the actors are like happy. So you see, I've seen so many behind the scenes things that have allowed me to press buttons a little bit better, I think.
And to maneuver your way around the industry.
Yeah.
Because I feel our industry is one-track-minded, like we are just...
Exactly.
You can't diversify, you can't move this way, then come back here.
And I think it's just merely education, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know, if all you know is, I was about to say accounting, but I don't know anything about finance. But I'm sure they're like different, different things. If you don't know about a doctor, what kind of doctor? They're different. There's so many different facets of it. But if all you know is general doctor, family doctor,
which is most of the actors in Kenya.
Yeah.
Actors, they just know.
Unajua drama fest.
Bas.
Unajua kujiintroduce na kusema ton alafu. But there are so many other versions. Yeah. There's the comedic social media actor now. There's a TikTok. There's so many
actors.
Yeah.
We went into do TikTok since it's easy money.
Have I tried to do TikTok?
Yes, TikTok acting since it's easy money.
Who said it's easy money?
It should be.
Oh, don't fool yourself, my friend. Social media is a beast. Me, who has been in the industry over 10 years or something, I have like 6,500 followers or something. Why they follow me? At Gathoni Mutua. Gathoni, that's Gathoni. .mutua. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong camera. Gathoni.mutua. That's Gathoni.mutua.
TikTok, Instagram.
Siko. But you see, because it takes so much to me, who has been in this industry so long, now I have to learn this other thing, right?
Yes.
I was listening to Future. It's a YouTube guy, like it's a company called Future, and they talk about creatives and that kind of, so they said, it's great to be fluent at the language of creativity, right?
Yes.
But can you be fluent at the language of business? And we have to do that now.
So, are you fluent in the language of business?
Me, I'm learning. Miniko, nini.
Because artists, the actors, creatives are very ignorant about the business side of.
And it's hitting you like a ton of bricks, like it's hitting me with my 6,500 followers, knowing that I have 10, 12 plus years of experience, and yet it's not showing in my, I'll say it could show more.
Yes.
I mean, I'll say it's not showing, I'm on billboards. But, you know, it could show more in my body of work. But because I've only just learned, or I'm starting to learn, you know, this is how to go from
the acting side.
From to what is it called? Being a household name. You know, now it's important to be a household name when you're doing this kind of craft. Which it wasn't before. It was like you could just bring your sister Caro, be like, oh, now she's an actor. She's an actor now. She's acted in that show. Now she's an actor. But now it's like we have brands, right? Everything is a brand. Everything and everyone is a brand. So in the era of branding, now we have to brand ourselves as actors. So we have to be fluent in the language of business and creativity. And I think I'm getting there now. Now I can speak it a bit. Najua ku pitch, najua ku, you know.
Are you getting lessons from anyone? Ama, this is the school of hard knocks.
Man, I'm telling you, that's the thing about having been in it for so long, is that I learned it the hard way by teaching myself, and rather than learning from other people's mistakes and having a mentor, me, I was gonganaing, like I was just hitting the wall.
Guesswork until something comes correct.
Like, so, I mean, it's a way. It's probably not the best way. So that's why I think I'm also passionate about teaching, is like, I'm happy to help my students, I love my younger, like, especially female students who are coming up and they're like, Gathoni, I don't know about doing this, and I don't know about doing this, and I really want to do this. But I know it's easier for men, or I know it's more difficult for me, or blah, blah, blah. Like, how do I maneuver? I'm so, like, that excites me to know that I can give them an answer. Because that was me.
That was you.
And I had no one to tell me.
True.
And me, I thought, or I knew, because at that time it was knowing, that really what I had was, in terms of education, was the States or London or something. You know, we didn't have, I mean, let me tell you, I went to KU. I was going through guy, maybe you can bleep that. I was going through the halls, you know, and finding like things were in disarray, like the department was not doing what it was doing, like, when back in the day, they were big, they were huge. Even Starehe Boys, I told you I direct musicals as well. So I directed a musical for them.
I saw Joseph, it in 2019.
Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. And it was like, they were a huge like school for music and drama. They hired me to come and try and bring it back. You know, so it's like
something is missing.
Missing pieces.
Alrighty. So tell us about Pieces of Us. Now we can move back to
Pieces of Us. Pieces of Us was my in-betweener between my two, I think, favorite projects. That one was because I was not a main. I was kind of like a co-main, co-featured. But maybe that was the most long-running, because it was not like Single Kiasi or This Is Life, which has like 13 episodes or 10 episodes. Those ones are like those episode 253, 250, those ones shoot to air. So that was interesting because it allowed me to, with Sintame, it's a bit, with Single Kiasi, Sintame, she's very fixed, you know, like her storyline is extremely structured and fixed and built, and it's almost hard to put more nuance onto her. Right?
Because you're so structured.
I kind of have to, everyone's like, okay, you're so different from Sintame. Because she's written, she's quite written, you know, as opposed to someone like Becky from Pieces of Us. Because Becky was being written as we go, you know, she was constantly, you know, she had a bit more leeway to change with every episode.
It felt like you were a wild card.
Because this episode, you know, she can, you know, and then the next episode she can go back wild, but then there's explanation. You have time to explain how she got there. You know, how you got to crazy. With Single Kiasi, because it's so short, you don't have time to go like, okay, she was crazy here and now she's not because ABCD. And so so it's very hard to write for a show like Single Kiasi, because you have to get to the plot lines like immediately.
There's no delay.
So Pieces of Us was different in that way. Like Becky was like, this week I'm like, oh, she's doing what? I'm like, oh, she did her. Whereas I think for Cinta May, because we can't move too far, it has to kind of be within her world, you know?
Yeah, it has to be within character.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we have, hopefully we have more seasons coming that will allow us to continue to flesh them out, evolve. Because even from season 1 to season 2, I feel like Cinta May is a completely different human.
Yeah.
Not different, but yeah, even her, she's gone through so many things, right? Now she's pregnant.
Yes.
That's a different thing.
That's an
she's been wanting
too.
to be pregnant for 12 years.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's a different... Yeah, like you had to put pause on this person. Just like they say every 7 years, like your whole cells regenerate, right? Yes. So you're like literally a different person.
Yes.
So imagine in that process of those 7 years coming to fruition, how much you're changing, you know? Like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, da-da-da-da. So even by the time, even physically, she's changed, you know?
Do you feel the change yourself, or how do you prepare to get into a character now that you've got this person? Because you're totally opposite of what that character is. So who are you and how do you get into that particular human? Because I feel like you're a very strong, a force to reckon with as
Cinta May, yeah.
Oh, yeah, got it.
Close. But Santa, but this hint. Basically asking like about how I get into my characters and stuff. I love that you've said like, who are you? Because that's my main question. Even when I teach coach my acting classes, we start with who are you, right? Because in order to become someone else, you have to be something, right? Yes. In order to shape shift, you have to have, with Play-Doh, you have to have a shape, you have to have the Play-Doh first in order to shape into something. And so if you take the example of that Play-Doh, what we do in acting classes is to get you to zero, right? You have to start like this, right?
Baseline.
Baseline. You know, something malleable.
Yes.
But a lot of time, if you start, let's not take Play-Doh, let's take clay, right? You have to put water, without the water, how is it? It's dry. You can't move it. You can't. And that's how most people show up into class for me.
Why?
That's dry. They're just like, I'm tense, I'm nervous, I'm trying to make money, I'm trying to, all these things, right? So then we have to put water. And that water is all the exercises that we do, all the mental processes that we have to do. So for example, physically, there's a lot of breathing. We talk about breathing. Yes. That's resetting the system, right? So that we're going from that to, okay.
Because I saw Viola Davis say that once you start doing that breathing exercise and you mouth them or pronounce them, it brings out the emotion that you actually feel and you let go.
Oh my goodness, 1000%.
Tell us about that.
There's a class that I did in uni where it gets much because I feel like you can't explain things that are physical as much as like you just kind of have to do them.
Yes.
Like I can't explain to you how it feels to stretch.
Yes.
You have to just be like, I know that feeling, Yes. It's like that. It's like there's a release of, like when you take a deep breath and out, there's a feeling of,
relief.
Why was I so tense, it really, gosh, I really don't know how to explain it. It's like journaling, it's like going on a run, it's like breathing. All of them they reset by how you reset them. And if you don't ever reset them, then they'll just continue getting drier. So, right? And so the more water you can pour, the more malleable you can be. The more exercises that you have and the more you know yourself, right? The more you can change into something else. So if I, for example, have to be a bad, evil villain, or let's say I have to act as someone who kills someone, like as a serial killer. I have to know myself as a non-serial killer to be able to come out of that role when we call cut or when we're done with that show, right? Because otherwise I have nothing to return to.
Yeah.
I'm returning to that serial killer.
You're returning to that.
Yeah, because I was nothing before.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's that understanding of, okay, let me start with a foundation. Let me really get myself together. So we do a lot of like therapy work.
Itabidi.
Yeah, I'm like, who are you? Why do you feel that way? Do you feel like we do a lot of like type work? When I do my group classes, we do like type work. So I have someone stand in front and be like, what does that person look like?
Oh, wow.
We age them as a casting director would. We say, okay, give them an age range, 5 years, 21 to like 26. And then I'm like, okay. So they say highest range, like higher side 26, lower side 21. Say, okay, great. What do you look like you can do? So, this one looks like they're an artist. Or this one looks like a chokora. This one,
do people cry?
Yeah. No, because we try and I make sure to keep the environment light.
So that it doesn't get to...
Yeah.
So
but let me tell you how vital that session is, because a lot of people do leave like, yo, I didn't know I look like that.
Nice.
But the thing about it is, that's how your casting agent is seeing you. So the brutality of me, let me tell you, mi nilikuwa naenda hizo lines za Hollywood. Me, I thought I was showing up looking like Lupita. Kumbe!
Yeah, there are 1,000 Lupitas looking
Let me tell you, promise you, I thought I was Lupita. Kumbe, I was looking like...
a regular ass Gathoni.
From Muranga.
Where? Are you serious?
Yeah, like just a chick who has no understanding of the... Because I didn't get it. I didn't understand how you look. Right? Because that's the first thing they see.
The first thing they see. True.
And then they hear your voice and how you speak. Then they see how you act. So imagine it's in that order.
So how did
it's
you
not from how you act.
It's not from inside out.
Yeah, it's from outside in, unfortunately.
How did you find yourself? How did you ground yourself to be this person? Unakuja kuuliza watu, who are you? So
how did you find yourself?
Because,
are these really the questions?
Yes, kwa sababu, cheki.
How did I find myself?
Yes, kwa sababu hii industry inaweza kufanyia maneno.
Mbaya tena sana.
Yeah. Ndio yote isa mami.
Hey.
How did you find yourself?
How did I find myself?
Because this industry will turn you inside out, outside in, and then some. Particularly you've been to Hollywood, so it's brutal. It's worse than here.
Sijui niende the spiritual aspect.
Do you?
So again, I think over all my years, now is when I'm coming to the point where I'm looking at life very holistically. So as much as I teach that about like, okay, what's your physical appearance looking like? What's your voice saying? Blah, blah, blah. There's also all the aspects of wellness. And I think for me, that's really where I'm trying to like direct my coaching, direct my work.
Yeah.
It's just like, how can I be holistically as a circle, if you look at it as a circle, like the physical side, emotional side, intelligence, right? All of them wellness, right? Emotional intelligence, physical intelligence, like all of that kind of stuff, just being at the prime, right? So that means I need to read. Yes. I need to listen to podcasts. I need to educate myself on the different stuff. I also need to work on my emotions, right? That has to do with journaling, meditating, physical side, right? Breathing and stuff so that I can be emotionally centered, right? So I'm not all over the place. Then we start rolling and I'm still all over the place, right?
Yes.
So physically I have my whatever. Emotionally I'm centered, right? Intellectually now I know what to do. I'm like, okay, now I know, okay, I want to do this emotion. This is how I'll do it.
This is what the character dictates.
Yeah. What's the otherworldliness of it, right? What's the non-physical part of it? And we're not talking emotional, intelligent. What's the why?
Yes.
You know?
What's your why?
What's your why?
Yeah.
And a lot of that is like the basics of what, one of the biggest questions we ask as actors is, what do you want?
Yes.
What does the character want? And that is almost a spiritual question, right?
Yes.
So all of them put together, that drives now like, that's an undefeatable character. That's 4 dimensions. You can see the nuance, right? You can see when in Devil Wears Prada, when Meryl Streep goes from, there's a moment where she's human.
Soft.
Human and soft. You're just like, ooh.
Did you see
did someone hurt you?
And it's a glimpse of it and you won't see it anymore.
Well, you're like, who hurt you? And that who hurt you, oh, it's powerful.
Yes.
Because if she's just a villain the whole time, you're like, there's a villain. Nobody likes her.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, who hurt you? That's way more interesting. Yeah. Because now it's like, oh, now they have like a mother-daughter relationship. Anyway, let's not go into it. It's a great movie.
Yes, Devil Wears Prada.
Great movie.
Right.
Yeah, so that kind of thing.
All right. So how do you center your characters? Because first let's begin. Which is the strongest character you've played? This is Saint May at the moment, right? So
Hey, you did it. You did it.
finally, when I don't think about it, it comes.
Yeah, it comes.
So which character do you aspire to play? Because I would like you to see. I'd like to see you.
Oh my goodness.
Like
Oh
badass.
my goodness. Yes, 100%. 100%. I'm trying to be in Mission to Rescue 2.
Hey, Mustang Nazo.
Mission to Rescue 3. Eh. Me, I want to be, what's that chick's name? Tomb Raider.
Oh,
I'm trying to do some woman king. I'm trying to Wakanda forever.
This is an investment. Like it's a
Mtanijua. Wasiniandikie.
We will write. I can make you a Meru warrior or something.
Mcheze nini?
Tucheze kama wasi. Like how do you hope this character is going to push you, or what do you think this character is going to go? Your dream
Dream
that
character.
Dream character, yes.
Oh
Because
my
I feel
goodness.
Sintame is a woman and a very strong character in that. But then again, I don't think she has room to wiggle and become something else.
I think she does. I'd love to answer that question for both characters, but let me just start with the fictional one. The fictional one, the Wakanda Forever,
Woman King.
Mission to Rescue. I grew up very sporty. I'm an Arsenal fan. Top of the league. Anyway. Like I'm big on community things. Yeah. Like casts, teams, like groups. Like I've always been that person.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I love the idea of doing something together as a group and especially in a story, like a team or an office. Like recently I did something with the UN is there NDA on it? Anyway, it's
with other people.
Yeah, something with people doing things.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I think the idea of everyone in the group, in the story, is trying to do one thing. Like if you're a team, you're doing a football team. Like you've watched Bend It Like Beckham.
Yes.
Kitu kayo. I love things like that because you're like, I can really get into the spirit of, I can bounce off these other people who are also in my sphere.
Yeah.
I just think that person will be someone who is multifaceted like me. I would love for her to not just, I think the movie Bend It Like Beckham is very interesting because they're like, oh man, she's such a tomboy, blah, blah, blah. But yet, I think she falls in love. Yeah, so it's one of those things where I just want to give dimension to people,
Yes.
Give people in the village, dimension. Give people in the city dimension. Me, I've spent a lot of my life in shags. Like, me, I'm a farm girl. But you won't know that, because...
That?
Yeah, because... But I'm not seeing that dimension of, city girl. So I'm sure there's a part of maybe Sinta May who's... What's her shag's life? What's her, so there's a lot of that we can experience and blah, blah, blah. So as much as you say there's not much wiggle room and whatever, I think the adding dimensions is what's the future of it. Including, like, that's what I was saying about having 13 episodes versus, like, shooting to air and whatever. Like, the more episodes we have, the more we can flesh out these people, give them more backstory, give them more, hard things. Maybe in season 13, Sinta May goes into law enforcement.
Why?
You know what I mean? Like, that's what happens with storylines when they become long, right? People start changing and evolving because they can't have been this way for 13 years.
True.
See, they've moved.
Manze?
Yeah.
Kuna evolution.
Grey's Anatomy. Bado, yedi daktari. Si retire.
It's been since, 2008?
Yeah, man. Like, are you still a doctor? Because,
Come on, girl. Yo.
Yeah. So that kind of thing, I think will give us representation, will give us dimension. I think that's what I'm looking forward to with my coming characters. To have, yes, she could be a lawyer, but what else? What else does she do? Because that's how we are. Most of the lawyers I know and I've met on Twitter because of this are very artsy, like super artsy, which is very interesting to me.
It is.
they're all either musicians or they like can draw or they're like, you know.
The things that they do
Yeah.
that does not define the particular.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, let's give dimension to people. Let's make them football players who can sing. Let's, you know, let's give the story. And it doesn't have to be for the drama, but for the realism. Right. Not like, oh, okay, let's make her killer next episode. No, let's do it for what is actually happening in the world, you know? Art representing real life. Yeah.
So who do you aspire to be? Like an actor? Who's your mentor?
Gathoni.
That's nice.
Yeah, no, I aspire just to be, honestly, I really aspire to be me. Yeah. Nice. I usually say, I'm trying to teach myself to be myself. Mm-hmm. And that's part of what the journaling and the meditating and stuff is, because I forget. Yes. You know, even when I'm not doing roles, even if you're with your friends, sometimes you become them, you know,
you start
kidogo, you go there, you become something else, right? Else. So you have to come back and be like, again, who am I? You asked, who am I? Yeah. Center yourself. So that now you can kunja yourself into something else. But if you're just a rock and you're just going everywhere and you're just taking everything and you're not, it's just, you have to know who you are.
What's the difference between film, acting, theater, commercial, film? Oh, sorry, I said film, TV.
That's a great question.
Yeah, what's the difference? Like, what is there a particular what is it called?
Method or
method that you have to apply?
Yeah, so I think we touched on it earlier about, you know, there's the TikTok and blah, blah, blah. I think that as much as I'd like to say there's one kind of acting, and I really think there's either truthful acting or there's not. Okay. But there are multiple media to do it, right? Mm-hmm. So doing a short film versus doing an Insta story versus doing a reel versus doing a YouTube video versus doing a short featurette versus I mean, there are so many ways you can tell a story that I don't think the medium is the thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's how do we act? What is acting, right? Yes. And I think that answer is very simple, which is just to tell the truth in imaginary circumstances.
Tell the truth. Okay, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Kenyan movie right now on Netflix or film or series?
Oh.
On Netflix.
No, favorites is hard, but I'll just say one I'm really enjoying right now.
Yeah.
Same at Netflix.
Same.
I'm on Showmax.
Any Kenyan Netflix show that you like?
Showme. My bosses are watching.
Not Single Kiasi.
Showmax. Single Kiasi.
Netflix, you say.
I'll say I really liked. I liked it. Is it called? Oh, I always mess up the name. A Christmas Love.
Oh, Christmas Love. Yes.
Ile with that Ugandan chick.
Yes.
First of all, she's so gorgeous. She's such a singer.
Oh.
Where? Multifaceted.
Itabidi. Wow.
Triple threats. Acting, singing, dancing. Acting,
singing,
sports, instruments. Be something. Yeah, that's how you get it, man. With Pascal, I loved that one. That was really nice. It was heartwarming. Oh. So congratulations to Peter Kawa and the team. It was short. He said the only thing that was wrong with that is that it was too short.
Okay, yeah, true.
Yeah, it's the only thing, but that's lovely.
That's a good complaint.
It's the best complaint you can have.
That's a good complaint ever. What do you think about Country Queen?
Country Queen, I have not finished.
Okay.
But I think it's
wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, did I say Melissa was from Country 49? I meant Country Queen.
Country Queen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's well shot. Storyline is great. I mean, there's also County 49. I mean, they're just...
Where do you see the Kenyan industry, the Kenyan film industry going in the next, Now, 2 years, that is C5 nowadays, because everything changes every day.
I'll tell you what, this year, I think people are really... I think the people who have the money are now being slapped in the face by the economy, which is saying, remember how we told you social media and blah, blah. Yeah, now it's for real.
It's working.
Now it's for real. Like, now we need to invest in people. So now... you're starting to see collaborations between influencers and, you know, governments, you know. Now it's not a joke. Now it's not just for the kids.
Yes.
Now it's serious people. And I think that is just an indicator of what entertainment can do and does and the arts does and has always done.
Yes.
If you look at Hollywood and all those people, they have always been the face of things. Always.
Yes.
I mean, if you talk, even if in insurance, what's his name? Shaq has been the face of everything under. Shaq is our Jalas. Like, everything that you need branded.
Yes, it's him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that we've only started now to say, oh, okay, kumbe Jalas si fala. Jalas is now an MP.
Yo.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mchezo.
Kim jokes. So it's one of those things of, okay, understanding what brand means. And now using brand to establish, to establish ourselves as creatives. And not just saying I'm fluent in creativity. I'm a really great actor, which is what I came and said in 2016. I'm like, I'm an actor. I've studied it.
Psych.
I've even been in the industry. I know this stuff. They're like,
in Hollywood.
they're like, na hii side,
Hii side ingine.
followers, nothing. Do you know how to market yourself? No. Where is your acting reel? The one that you're telling your students about?
Wow.
Where is CV? I was like, okay.
How long did it take to get yourself together?
To be fair, I started my acting reel as I was leaving the States.
Okay.
So I literally, this is a tip. For the people who have not been cast in anything and can't be cast in anything, which is not true, find some friends. But yeah, the tip is find some friends.
Who can shoot something?
Yeah, and what I did is I literally wrote 4 scenes and then cut them as if they're movies.
Nice.
And it just was like, show reel. And they're all different. One is about like death, like a sick woman, she's terminally ill. Another one is about like a child in a waiting room with an African kid, and an African woman waiting in an American waiting room, and just things that I was just trying to be like,
bruh.
Just see that I can act.
Just see the versatility.
Yeah,
of my talent.
yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, those are the things we've been working on for a long time.
Do you consider what is success to you? Do you consider yourself as a successful in
Um,
this industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I work hard as a person to be, maybe it's not work hard. I think I'm a generally content person because of the fact that I think I'm very gentle on myself. So I celebrate my small wins quite well, which I think motivates me to do more. I think success is just about contentment. I think even just that year in the States, or those 3 years in the States, were huge for me. As much as like they were so long ago, I'm so grateful, and I can count that as success because I did them and I accomplished them, and they're on my CV, and they taught me so much in terms of relationships, work, equipment, blah, 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 just planning. So I think all of those, to me, I count as success because I think I count all of them as success because I know I can see the results now. I can see when I sit in a meeting, oh yeah, it's because by then 2016 this thing happened. So I'm quicker at this now because of that one moment.
Yeah.
And I know how to slate and say my name better or more creatively now because of that one audition. So it's very small, minute successes for me. And sometimes successes look like failures.
Yes.
Because it might be, okay, you didn't do that very well. And so you don't get it. Yes. But the next time you do it,
you're going to be successful.
Trust.
You're going to nail it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had enough. Let me tell you, the rejections and the rooms that I walked into in the States, I was like, it's not from not trying to audition.
It's for...
I was not getting jobs for acting because there are 7,800 Gathonis. You want a Chinese 3-foot man? We've got him.
70,000 of them.
Yeah, what do you want? You want a Filipino wife? We got him.
Whoa.
6 of them.
So how did you handle the rejection? How did you handle that?
I was like, forget it. I was just joking. Let me be an AD. But I was really taking note. I was like, okay, so these people are triple threats. These people can sing, they can dance, they can act, they can do an instrument, they can ski, they can blah, blah, blah. So maybe because you can do 2 things, Gathoni, maybe add
something.
Yeah, so I was really learning. And I was learning, okay, these people have, their headshots. They were constantly going for headshots. I'm like, you just took headshots. Me don't even have one. These guys are doing monthly headshots with expensive photographers. Wow. And that's back in the day, right? Before like every phone could do everything.
Do pictures and everything.
Yeah.
Wow, so it's a proper investment that you actually made the decision to invest in your career.
Absolutely.
And it's paying off now.
And it's paying off now, and with much struggle, because y'all was not trying to help me. Y'all was not trying to help me. Let me tell you, artists. I know. And sana people who seem to come from privilege or whatever, and probably, I'm privileged. Let me not say I'm not privileged. True. But I think, it was rough.
You're reminded that you don't belong here.
Yeah, you don't belong here. You don't speak our language. You're, what even is this school talent thing? No one will say it, you know.
But it's in the air. You can feel it.
You're like,
So what would you tell your younger self? Like, what is the biggest accomplishment you have made that your younger self would be stoked for?
Oh, I did it.
Yay.
I just did it. That's the thing, like for me, I'm really just doing it. I'm doing the things that I've always told myself I would do. I'm doing them real slow and with a lot of mistakes. A lot. I really wish I had a lot of them, at least a lot of my peers are people's mentors. Akina Nyokabi, Akina, these are the people who people are looking up to now, but these are my people, Us guys hardly had, our people were being fired for standing up for the things that they believed in. So us guys were like, we're not doing that. Mm-hmm. But now we're trying to, get out. Now that we have a bit of footing, I'm talking me and Nyokabi, and that's our generation now. We're getting a bit of confidence to say, no, we're not happy with this, and we're willing to try and change it, and we're not willing to do this for it. And so I think I'm excited for what our generation has in store. Like, I think.
Do you feel support from your peers, from your fellow actors, from the crew, from the industry? Do you feel like we are all working towards something in unison, or you just have a group of a bunch of women with similar thoughts and you're forging forward?
I'd say a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. Kenyans love to support you when you're successful.
Yes. Yes.
They're like, umenunua Audi. Unafanya nini? Siuni And it's like, bruh, you were there for my first fundraiser. Kutoa shilingi. Oh, weak. But yeah, that's how it is. But also, there are those die-hard people, and those people who are like, I saw you and I see you, and I'm here for you. I'll never forget this. Let me just even shout her out. Joyce Mukami. She supported my acting reel, that acting reel that I was telling you I did in the States.
Yes.
I crowdfunded it from Kenya.
Oh, wow.
Because kona yodo. So I went to like a studio that had like several rooms that you could do any scene. So I had 4 different scenes, like I told you, right? So each in different rooms. So it's not like I went to different locations and stuff. So and even that guy gave me a discount. So doing that, like that's how I did my own reel. Mm-hmm. So she's the one who supported me in doing that, because it cost a lot of money to like just get like a direct. I had like one director, one sound. I had like the most bare bones.
The minimum.
Yeah. And still it was so expensive for me, because I was just trying to make rent, by clapping for $8, So for her to support me, and it was just like, she's my age mate. She's someone, she does sports now for big people and travels to do World Cup and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's that kind of thing where she's not in our industry per se, but she's supported me, and I'm like, that kind of vision are the people. Those are the kinds of people we need to see us, not necessarily your aunt and your cousin and blah blah blah, because those people see you, but they don't really see you.
Yes.
You need people who have seen you, your friends, your friends, who really believe in you. Because people buy you, then they buy the company, then they buy, the vision. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.